So are we online?
We are online and live, ready to go.
Okay, great. So we have one item, the consent calendar, and C1 at the rooftop deck at, where's the address of this place? 840 Toro Canyon Road. Is the applicant online or?
I don't see the applicant for C1 online.
We don't have a.
Mhm. Yeah, and you don't have to be present in order to approve the project. Now, this one here, we said, consider incorporating wood elements with the glass railing. And I guess the word consider is, it means, so I think that, yeah, so, but I think the board, I mean, if that's the wording, I guess it's considered is, I mean, I looked at, do you want to show it on, can you show the elevation? Yeah, this is the rooftop deck. Yeah, that's the deck right there. That's the plan. That's the elevation with that detail there, the glass detail. Yeah, now go back, go back. Yeah, that one. And on page, towards the bottom, last page, those are the details. You know, it's a glass detail is one, and the next one is perhaps, yeah, that's the most visible detail. And yeah, no, yeah. No, go back to where you were. Yeah, there, that's the one. It's a sheet of glass. Go back to the elevation. Then, yeah, there, that's the, yeah. We thought it was, you know, some people have objections to the glass railing, but with the wording considering, I think it's not very visible. A planner online? Okay, would the planner like to speak?
Hey, Francisco, can you hear us?
We don't have
Sorry, yes,
any.
I can hear you. I was just trying to get my mic to work. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, yeah, we don't have any standard policy against the glass railing. We said consider, so yeah. Okay, maybe we should do is continue until the applicant come back with, and we can discuss. So we'll continue this to the next meeting, okay?
Did you get that, Francisco?
Is it not approvable the way it is? I mean, do you?
Yeah, I was,
the way
yes, I mean,
originally.
I had some doubts. It's not very visible, and that's why we use the word consider. I don't know, what does the board feel? Oh, it's just glass, it's
Glass.
just a sheet of glass, that's, yeah. Yeah.
I personally don't have a problem approving it.
Okay, yeah, I think that's the position of the board. So if you concur, we can approve it at the meeting. Okay. All right. Let's move on then. By the way, that concludes the consent calendar.
The elections. You can go later out of order with the elections. Yeah.
Like President Biden at the moment. Okay.
All right. The chair makes the rules until she's unelected. Okay. We'll begin the January 10th, 2025 South Aspire hearing, and we're going to wait on item 1 and move on to until we have a few more members present. I'm going to move on to item 2, public comment. Is there anyone in the audience or online that would like to speak not on any items not pertaining to today's agenda?
We have received no requests to speak on items not on today's agenda.
Okay, close public comment. Move on to the agenda status report.
We have received no continuances for today's agenda.
Okay. And we'll move on to reviewing the minute. We cannot review the minutes actually either because we don't have a quorum for those present at the time of those minutes. So we'll move on to Aspire members' informational briefings. I will introduce our new member in a moment once we do the election of elections. But also I have to recuse from item 2 today.
Oh, sorry.
I'll have to recuse from item 1 today.
Any other Aspire member informational? Okay. And then we'll move on to the staff update.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair. Joe Dargle here, and Happy New Year, and no updates from me this morning.
Okay. Well, that was too efficient. We didn't get anything else. It was, all right, I don't think we can run elections with just 4, right? Yeah, let's move on to the consent calendar.
Okay, so we have one item, the consent calendar, that item C1 at 840 Toro Canyon Road. And for the preliminary and final approval of the roof deck. And I make a motion to approve it as submitted.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
So we do have a quorum, right? Is that,
Quorum.
yeah, okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah, we just don't have, for elections, it seems a little tricky to do with bare quorum. Yeah, so now we have to wait. Okay, so we should recess for 5 minutes.
Okay, yep. We're going to take a 5-minute recess.
Members.
We're ready to go. Yeah. Well, that was 5 minutes, I think.
All right, we will reconvene and go back to item 1, the elections for chair and vice chair. Do we have any nominations for chair?
I nominate Kaylee Grab for chair.
Second. you have any other nominations for chair?
No.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks. Okay, and then any nominations for vice chair?
I nominate Valerie.
Oh, no.
Rocha.
The tiebreaker.
I nominated first.
Okay.
All right, I'll second Alex. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, world's easiest, oh, sorry, we excluded you from the elections. Okay, they got approval, so applicant for C1, we were able to move ahead and approve your project, so. Okay, and then, Joe, is this when we introduce a new board member? Or Jonathan, is this when we do?
That would be great for me for the minutes to be able to add their name. I don't know them yet, so that would be great.
Okay, so we, at the end of the year, we had Chris Gilliland step down from his service on the board, and we have a new board member, Keir Smith, who is a very experienced landscape architect here in town. And we're really excited to have him on the board.
Yeah, thank you all very much. Appreciate the introduction, Kaylee. Yeah, I've had many years of experience working on some incredible projects in town and look forward to, continuing working with the community and all of you and getting to know all of you. So thank you for the opportunity. Thanks.
Right, and so we'll close the elections and move, what did we move past? We'll move back to item 4, reviewing the minutes from December 20th. Now that we have quorum. Continuances.
I have a comment on one, on item 1, B. To read, it says the 2 members suggest the overall project siting could be adjusted, and I suggest should be moved a few feet to the north and continue the rest as is. At the minimum, suggest shifting the garage 2-3 feet to the north, etc. Did you get that? Who's Joe? Yeah. Joe,
I didn't quite get that.
okay, so the on item 1, comment B, the second sentence, to read, 2 members suggest, no, 2 members suggest, a soft word, the overall project siting should be moved a few feet to the north, and at the minimum suggest shifting the garage 2-3 feet to the north and studying the angle of the garage. So that's the comment there.
I think we could eliminate the 2 members. I think it was more of a consensus
Okay.
at the end.
Okay, then we should say move the overall project site, move the overall project siting slightly, I guess. Did we say 2-3 feet?
Was it the main residence or the garage?
Well, there were 2
The comment I
comments.
made was pertaining to the garage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was both.
I think it was both. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to litigate the whole thing again, but it just seems like the word it's written here is like
I know.
the applicant will do nothing. I mean, it's just
Oh,
a suggestion and should,
See,
And-
'cause it affects the first sentence too. Majority of the board agrees that citing a project is appropriate will result in a subtle house.
I think that sentence should be eliminated. I don't remember us saying. that
Yeah,
necessarily.
I think we scrap that first sentence. And say board suggests the overall project citing should be adjusted.
It should be moved to the north And at the minimum, and continue the whole sentence, such as shifting the garage, etc.
I think, yeah, other than just, they're just changing could to should and eliminating the first sentence. Got that, Joe?
And.
I got
Alex,
all of
you
that,
said
yeah.
Several feet instead of 2 to 3. Want to be that specific.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to be a little bit more
Give-
vague, because otherwise it seems like nothing will happen,
Yeah.
that comment.
Okay.
Okay, I have a comment on comment D. It should say, return with additional details of architectural moldings. This is the one with the church, and the question was not about the tile. It was about how the moldings were going to be executed. It was going to be foamed, covered with, or it was going to be cement plaster, and the applicant was in doubt. I wasn't sure, so we asked him to return with additional details. That,
You want to put
So-
for cornice / surrounds,
well, I should put moldings.
just moldings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Additional
So we're
details of
changing the word
architecture.
tiles to architectural moldings.
Return with additional details of architectural moldings.
Are you talking about D? Because the tiles also pertain to the risers on the steps. That's where that comment.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry about that. Yes. Add that detail too. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's the rises on the steps. Yeah. Okay.
So moldings as well as tile.
Yeah, okay, very good. I have a comment on 6A. So, I don't think this is the one with with the house with the deck. And I don't think A really pertains, because here we says the applicant has responded well to prior comments, and then we have all sorts of comments coming back. So I think A should be deleted, and the rest is fine. Okay, all right. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve the amended minutes. Aye.
Aye. All right. Move on to our standard agenda here. As it's your first time, you can just step out into there's like a bench in the hallway.
Small room with a lock.
Kick you out. All right. Is the applicant for item 1 online or in the audience? Yes. Okay. All right. Item 1, the Machado Family Trust additional alterations, request of Zelico Matic, agent and owner for the owner Blake Machado, here for further conceptual / prelim of project for exterior alterations to an existing single-family dwelling, conversion of a 500 square foot existing residence into a attached 2-car garage, re-roof of the existing 4,300 square foot single-family dwelling. The property is a 1-acre parcel located at 4878 Vieja Drive in the Eastern Galeta Valley Community Plan area. And the comments are brief, so I'll just read them. Restudied the windows and fenestrations and return with more consistent window sizes, types, and proportions. Return with a sample of the roof membrane in proposed color and show the garage door on elevations with proposed material. Is Mr. Matic online?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Oh, okay. Hi. I'm from Germany. So yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
And I got the notes. If you look on the elevations, so we changed all the windows to like the comment, like more mid-century. So we changed all the windows and adjusted them like to sliding windows, and we removed all the grids. I had to argue with the wife because she loved the grids, but I said no, they just asked like, for more mid-century style. So that way we removed all the grids and then changed everything to sliding. So everything is like more consistent now, as you can see hopefully you can see on the elevation.
Sounds good. Can you show us the, where is the garage door?
The garage is on the first,
In
on
the
the
middle?
south elevation, yeah.
Okay.
And there's also the material on the other slide. So it's a white oak, also kind of like mid-century warm. Yeah, you can see it on the bottom, the second from the left. That's a garage and that's the entry door.
Can you blow
That
it up?
style. It's a white oak, very organic, natural door.
Mhm.
Pretty simple garage door, nothing fancy.
And can you show us the sample of the roof membrane in its
So
proposed color?
it's
Right
it's
there.
then the right side. And I also had a sample dropped off. I don't know if Jonathan, if you received the sample, they dropped it off yesterday at
Okay.
the planning department. It should be like in an envelope.
He's gonna grab it for us right now.
Yeah. It's a typical gray. I talked to the roofing company, they said that's what they mostly use here in Santa Barbara for flat roofs.
Okay.
Okay, good.
All right. So you, Jonathan just stepped away for a second, and he's
Okay.
controlling the screen, but he's gonna go grab the sample. So you're
Okay.
here for further conceptual prelim. We'll move on to any questions from the board. Anybody have any questions? No? All right. Well, I'll wait till Jonathan gets back for public
Okay.
comment.
And you can see the roof material on the right, but yeah, it's easier to see in person. But it's yeah.
Okay, and we'll open up public comment. Is there anyone in the audience or online who would like to speak on this item?
We don't have anybody in the audience for this item, and we have received no letters, so we have no request to speak on this item.
Okay, we'll close public comment and move on to comments from the board. It's pretty straightforward, so just Josh, do you want to give any comments? Nope. Alex?
I think I'm glad that all the windows have been, are all compatible and very nice job
Mhm.
with that. And I'm sorry you got in trouble with your owner, but she'll be happy in the future.
Yeah, I think too.
Okay.
Val?
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry the owners feeling they lost out on the breakups, but I think it would have taken a lot more stylistic change to pull that together.
Yeah,
And this is simple and cohesive.
great, thank you.
I don't have any comments. I think it looks good.
Nor do I. Landscape. Okay, do we have a motion for, it's here for further conceptual / prelim?
I make a motion for preliminary approval with the final to return on consent.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving on to item 2, which I need to recuse from.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll take over then. Yeah, so this is the request for Lauren Anderson for the 115 square foot addition, but mainly is the remodel of existing of the residence. It's Lauren here. Is it online? Oh, I'm sorry. Apologize. Okay, yeah, would you like to make a presentation? Yes. Yeah.
Lauren Anderson with A34.
Alan McLeod with A34.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so yes, we're here for conceptual. It's an existing house. If you can go to the survey right there, you can see that we're on about 2 acres and it has 3 front yards. The existing house is roughly 4,000 square feet. And there's an existing pool to the northwest. And if you can go to the next sheet, this is the existing style. It's a Spanish style. It was built in the 70s. It hasn't aged well. It's leaking. And so we're proposing quite a substantial remodel and small addition. So if you can go to the next sheet, those are the existing plans. It's 4 different levels. It's like a 4, because it steps down along with the slope. So it's a split level plus 2 different lofts within the house. Okay, you can keep going. This is the proposed site plan. If you can zoom into the actual site plan, that would be helpful, and I can show you where the additions are. So we are extending the garage to the plan south and taking part of the existing garage and keeping, putting that into conditioned space inside the house. To the plan north, there's a small addition that's basically a closet for outdoor cushions. And then plan west is a small addition / plan south for the closet to make that function more appropriately for the owners. Okay, you can go to the, I'll have the landscape architect talk about the site after this. This is the floor plan. We really didn't change the location of anything. We just are rearranging a few rooms and closets to function better. You can go to the next sheet. We are proposing to remove the tile roof and put on a standing seam or other profile metal roof that we are exploring some options on. And we've cleaned up some of the jogs and gables. So if you can go to the next sheet, this is going to start to tell you the story. We're keeping the existing structure. We are enclosing all of the exposed framing and the beams and basically dropping a soffit and ceiling below the ridge beam. Basically, planing out the elevations and just making it a more cohesive design. And the next sheet will tell you more about the materiality that we're proposing. So the existing house is plaster and tile and exposed wood. We are cleaning all of the exposed structure up and using a modified wood called Luna wood on the top half of the new elevations with a Santa Barbara sandstone base, 5-point tight grout, or no grout, tight joint, and still using a form of white plaster, exploring the different whites. Not going to be super white, not going to be yellow. And then our metal roof, we're trying to use a champagne color and have no sheen. So we're exploring some options on that. Our fallback would be like a brown or a bronze color roof. That would be it for architectural. So our landscape architect should be online from Arcadia.
Hi, yes, I'm here. My name is Sasha. I'm with Arcadia Studio. And if you go 2 sheets down to the demo plan, this is the existing site. You can see we have to plan north some existing terraces, and underneath the hatch, you can see a kidney-shaped pool. To plan south, there's an existing driveway and entryway that we're gonna repave and reformat. And then that other red hatched area to plan west is a concrete stairway to the rest of the site. And when you look at the site, you can see there are some areas of relief that are relatively flat. And then the rest of the site has some pretty steep grades. So when we go to the next sheet and look at the proposed site plan, to plan north, we tried to stay within that existing footprint of where the terraces currently are to avoid excess grading. And then to plan south, where the existing driveway was, we're also staying within relatively the same footprint, but incorporating permeable pavers and changing the entry to the front door to be more of a straight shot, contemporary entry with concrete pads and a fountain. And then jumping back to plan north for the terraces, starting at the end of the driveway, we have our trash enclosure, Working around the main residence, we have some small seating areas which lead to a larger entertainment space with the outdoor kitchen and small membered contemporary pergola over that dining table. Going down a terrace, we have additional seating, anchoring the view from the front door to the backyard with a fountain. And then as you lower down to the space with our new pool, we have some planters to break up the walls. And when you're standing on the terraces looking over the pool, it sort of gives the impression of an infinity edge without the extra cost, because the grade does begin to drop off at the end of that area. So incorporating lots of room for planting to break up a lot of our concrete hardscape. And then at the end of the pool, we have an existing, this is to Plan West, an existing fruit tree orchard that we're continuing to add to. And then on this site, it is pretty large to the west, so also incorporating a walking path around the property. I do believe the ADU is going to be a separate submittal, so I'll leave that to the future. But moving into our irrigation plan, I think it's 3 sheets forward. Oh, this sheet, if you just scroll down a little bit more, we have a sort of basic section just showing that we're trying to limit our cut and fill with these terraces. So the red line is existing, the darker lines are proposed. And then the next sheet is our hydrozone plan. So we're within our WELO water allocations, using a lot of low water use, low maintenance, grasses, ground covers, lots of native plants to help with our low water use. So then going to the planting plan, which is 2 down. This is our palette just broken up with zones. So around the perimeter of the property, we have a more informal hedge using larger natives like toyon, prunus, and lauris. And a majority of the slope site, we're using a lot of native ground covers to retain that area with salvia, manzanita. And then if you go to the next sheet of our plant palette images, the first grouping is more of our social areas around the main house. So again, lots of grasses, small shrubs, succulents, and agaves. So keeping with the low water, low maintenance, but still within that Santa Barbara feel, and keeping it contemporary by using them in swaths with some accents with the succulent texture. And that is our concept.
Very good, thank you. Any questions from the board? Josh?
For the applicant, I'm just reading the comment letters. We had a comment from a neighbor. Looks like Ms. Nielsen across the street. I'm not exactly sure the location. And just for the record, have you worked with them to mitigate any concerns they have? Their only concern seems to be that any of the proposed work does not block their mountain views. I think I know the answer to the question, but I wanted you guys to address
Yeah,
that.
thank you. We did not know we received any comments on this project, but the existing house, we are not changing the height of it, and we're not changing anything that would affect the mountain views. If they're referring to the ADU, that is being worked on through the Hope Ranch Association, and they are meeting with neighbors and have story poles up.
I was wondering, the only addition you have is onto the garage. Is there any way that that's what she's?
I don't think that would affect it. That the ridge or the height of the gable on the garage is lower than the rest.
In the main.
Yeah.
gable, yeah, but from wherever they're located.
We can look at that for sure.
Yeah, that's all we're wondering.
Okay.
Okay, so any other questions? No? Yeah.
It's probably early, but have you guys, could you talk a little bit about the gates that you guys have planned for the main house and the ADU?
I'm not sure on the ADU if we have a gate, but the gate on the main house, I believe might be on the landscape plans. And if it's not, we can definitely incorporate that next time.
Thank you.
Sasha, I don't know if you know the answer to that.
Yeah, I'm flipping to it. I can't remember off the top of my head if we gotten that far. I know we have a lot of details fleshed out, but I don't think we've looked at the gates yet.
Thank you. I guess that the question was more coming from if you guys thought about hierarchy or how, I realize it's probably a fire-related issue for the ADU needing a driveway there. But just the hierarchy of those two gates would be a consideration. Thanks.
Mhm.
Yeah, Richard, Robert?
How tall are the walls around the pool? And is there any visibility of the walls from the road around? Or is the intent to screen off the pool from Via Vistosa?
Yeah, so currently when you walk down Via Vistosa, you can actually see the existing wall if you look really hard through the shrubs, but I believe the landscape's going to take care of a lot of that and the pool's pushed back. So we're actually removing the closest wall to plan south of Via Vistosa.
Yeah, the road is set down, so we're screening from below with larger shrubs, so you can't look up into it.
Oh, how tall is the wall around the outside of the pool there? Because isn't the pool kind of extending out over the slope there?
Correct.
More so than it was before?
It does extend out, but you're dropped down on that terrace, and we're sort of fading out the grade with rock walls. So it still stays within that natural slope, and the end of the pool still stays within that existing flat area.
But I think to answer your question, I think it's around 5 feet, but I'm not sure. Our civil engineer's on board and we're working through that now.
Okay. I would just make a recommendation that to try to keep the walls as minimal as possible and just make sure they're screened. as much as
Let's
possible
wait,
from
let's
the
wait for
roadway.
comments. I think we're still on questions. Okay. We're done with questions? Yep. Okay. Any member of the board, any member of the public would like to speak online? Is there anybody online?
We don't have anybody online, and we addressed the one public comment letter that was in the
right.
box file.
Okay, very good. So comments then. Who would like to start? Josh? Yeah.
Generally supportive of the project. It looks to be well conceived. It's a nice update to a older style home. So materials that are being applied and working with the existing building forms seem to work really well. So I would say project does well to comply. What am I trying to say? Neighborhood can, it's like the beginning of the year, I forgot. Been only doing this for 8 years. I think we could find for compatibility in the neighborhood, the style is appropriate and the mass bulk and scale seem appropriate. I don't see anything that's offending any neighbors particularly, or seems like just an overall nice project. So from the architectural side, I think those are all the comments. Thanks.
Yeah, I think it's a great solution to that early 70s Mediterranean. This is a good way of working with those existing forms and not completely undoing them. I think more information about the site, the questions about the pool and the walls, and maybe finding out more from that neighbor, because it doesn't seem to us that you're impacting anything. Maybe it has to do with the ADU, I don't know. So, but in terms of your approach to the architecture, it's very good.
Yes, I would agree with all those comments. I think it's a beautiful project, well-conceived landscape plan. I think my only comments would be in regards to the different driveways and in the Hope Branch community, making sure that there's a hierarchy to the driveways so it doesn't look like two main residences. And just the subtle nature of those and the way that the planting plan is conceived around them would be important. But other than that, I think it's a beautiful project.
Yeah, I agree with the positive comments. I was just looking through your plan. It looks like the walls is 3-foot stacked retaining wall around it, so you don't have huge walls around your pool. And then I appreciate that the landscape plan is proposing screening around property. It seems like the intent is to have this as its own enclave kind of deal. I really like the configuration of the landscape plan with the way that there's circulation between the main residence and the ADU. I was trying to better understand the concern from the neighbor about visibility, so maybe you guys could just kind of make sure that's addressed with the neighbor. And yeah, I think it's a great project, and the landscape plan is great. Selection of plants is positive.
Well,
Having a hard time hearing you.
yeah,
I couldn't hear that last part. If
yeah,
you
you need to speak on the microphone a little bit closer here.
I was just saying that I give you guys positive comments. I don't really have anything supporting your project. And I wanted to see that you guys would confirm with the neighbors that you're addressing any of their concerns about visibility.
Okay, so positive comments all around. I agree with all the comments. What I would like to see is maybe a 3D rendering of the house. I'm not sure how the board feels, but it's a complex, little project, and the way the materials go. If you can do a 3D rendering of the, just to see how the materials match and work together. I don't ask for this all often, but seems like it's a big enough project that could use that. And okay, so this can continue for preliminary, maybe final, or at least preliminary, right? Next time, okay?
I did have a quick question about the wood. Is it going to be a screen type? Or is it going to be, is that a fire treated? What is
so
that?
we've actually been exploring different options of how to apply this wood. It is thermally treated, so it technically meets the high fire.
Is that it? Is that?
Yes, this
yeah,
is the
I see.
sample.
So it's a thermally treated, what's the name of it?
Luna wood.
Luna.
But we've also been exploring doing some air gaps or a rain screen type of system. So we'll have a better answer for you next time. But
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So we'll see you next time then. Okay, thank you. And the next project would be 1250 Las Canoas Lane, the Benson Trellis. And this is Tim Gorter, present. Pass the baton.
Thanks, Alex.
Yes, Tim Gorter Architects is here.
All right, moving on to item 3. The Benson Trellis, the request of Tim Gorter, architect for the owner, John P. Benson, here for conceptual, prelim, and final review of a new trellis of approximately 400 square feet. The parcel is 4,200 square foot, or has a 4,212 square foot single-family dwelling, a 1,440 square foot accessory structure and garage. No cut or fill. It's a 4.8 acre parcel located at 1250 Las Canoas Lane in the Mission Canyon area. You can go ahead and state your name, and it sounds like it's a pretty straightforward.
It is, yes. My name is Tim Gorter from Tim Gorter Architects, and it is a very straightforward project. It's just a pool trellis. The actual pool improvements have already been approved via land use permit in October. The only part of the project that could not be approved via that land use permit is the trellis because it required design review. So that's what we're going to look at today. What you have on the screen are photographs of the existing pool and pool patio, and also the existing residence. And let's go to the survey drawing. So this is a survey of the existing property, which is about 5 acres. The southern portion, which you see depicted here, there's an existing residence, existing accessory structure, and then the existing pool. And I think we can go to the next slide. The slide after this, yeah. So this is the existing pool and pool patio. A large Olympic-sized lap pool, a deck, and a flagstone pool patio. We can go to the next slide. So here's what we're proposing. All of this is already approved via land use permit, except for the trellis portion. So we've got a new bridge at the end of the pool, new stairs to access the pool, and then an enlarged pool patio with an outdoor kitchen and outdoor dining and living areas. Next slide, please. So the trellis itself is about 40 feet by 15 feet. So it's actually 600 square feet, not the 400 square feet in the project description. And it consists of 6 concrete posts, which are finished in white plaster to match the main house. And then the trellis itself is wood to match the wood accents and wood posts at the main house. So we can go to the next slide. Next slide. So here we're showing the proposed outdoor lighting that attaches to the trellis, which is in a Spanish colonial revival style. It's the dependent fixtures in the middle there, the 2 in the middle. Next slide. So here are the elevations of the trellis in the context of the outdoor kitchen. The height of the trellis is just under 11 feet, 2 inches tall to the top. And at the upper right, you can see a photograph of the existing wood staying at the main house, which we're going to match. And then also we're proposing a shade, a retractable shade at the trellis. And you see this umbrella fabric samples photographed in the upper right-hand corner. Next slide. Next slide. So on the right-hand side, you can see the trellis detail, concrete posts, which is plaster finished, and the wood trellis members above that. And then in the upper left-hand corner, you see the detail for the retractable fabric screen. Next slide. Next slide. And then these are 3D views that show the trellis in the context of the pool improvements. And that concludes the presentation.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Nope.
Just one question. This is a 600 square foot trellis, right?
Yes, that's true. Yes.
And you're here for final review. Can we do that? Is that is some person online? No. Okay, because it's listed as 400. Can we give a final approval? Can we approve it this today or what?
We can approve it,
Because,
and then
yeah.
the planner has to approve it on their end for how the description has to
I think
change.
Joe would have
Okay.
clarification on this.
Okay. Well,
Yes. Just to clarify, is the question, because it's agendized for concept, preliminary, and final, can you grant it full approval?
It's agendized for a 400 square foot trellis, and in reality is 600 square feet. So it's 50%, it's larger. Is
Oh,
that the
interesting.
problem? Is that the
Yeah,
problem?
so that's, Jonathan, can you confirm what the noticing, what that included? Because if the noticing is correct, I think we're fine having the agenda being a little bit off.
Let me pull that up really quick.
Yeah, but otherwise, I think
We can
if the
continue to
noticing says
consent.
400,
Yeah.
I would
Clarify,
continue
did
it.
it
Yeah.
grow or was it miswritten in the description?
So yeah, so when we originally designed the trellis, it was 400 square feet. And then we added the outdoor kitchen and that made the width of the trellis increase by 5 feet, which got us to 600. And I did not catch that,
Huh.
that we didn't update the project description. So
Okay.
Yeah, it says in the noticing, it was for 400 square feet.
Okay, so I guess we could give it a preliminary approval and then continue on final on consent.
I would recommend withholding preliminary approval
Okay.
since that's an action, and I think we should renotice before it gets preliminary.
Okay.
Okay,
Can we offer coming back prelim and final on consent once it's noticed,
That's great.
since the set's ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
we can make comments now, I guess, right?
Let's go ahead, close questions and move on to public comment. Is there anyone in the audience or online?
We have nobody in the audience or online and no letters submitted.
Okay. And we'll close public comment and move on to comments from the board.
I have no comments. It's just a question. Lately on the building department, they seem to have issues with wood, regardless of how big the wood is in terms of fire. Do you run into that at all?
we have already submitted for a building permit, but we haven't received any comments back yet. And I think because of the size of the wood, we shouldn't have a problem, but not sure.
Yeah, I just, yeah,
Do you
sure.
know the distance from the structure? That's what we just ran into this on another one in Hope Ranch, and I think they said it was 30 feet,
Has to be 30 feet from a,
which is very far.
yeah.
I'm not sure. We could look at the site plan and try to estimate, but I think we're probably less than 30 and close to 20. We'd have to look at the site plan.
The corner right there on the,
I think
yeah,
the comment
yeah.
can be to just check before
Yeah.
come back for prelim and final.
yeah, it's just,
Okay.
it's just, yeah. Yeah, I have no comments. I think it's perfectly fine.
Josh? Comments? Okay. Val?
No, looks fine.
Kier?
No comments.
I think it looks nice.
Sounds good. All right, so we will agendize you for prelim and final when you come back, and just might want to check on the timber distance from the structure.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks. All right, and that was our last item of the day. So that concludes our very brief first hearing of the new year.
We are adjourned.